Another word you've probably heard before is paragraph. But what does it actually mean and why do we use paragraphs? Well, let's get into it. Let's have a very quick read of this paragraph right here. There are a large number of reasons why people choose to use public transport instead of private vehicles. One of the most obvious is the fact that commuters aren't required to undertake any maintenance if they travel by public transport. This may in turn reduce the amount of expenses they have, which they can spend on other areas of their lives. Another important consideration for those opting to use public transport is the fact that these modes of transport are not affected by traffic jams. This can reduce the amount of time passengers spend on traveling, allowing them to have more free time. Now, I know that was a lot of words and a big paragraph, but what is the idea of this paragraph? What are we talking about? We'll have a look at the first sentence. We're talking about reasons and choosing to use public transport. So what is a paragraph then? What is it? Well, it's a group of sentences that all relate to a certain topic. So it's a group of sentences that are all talking about just one topic. Each sentence builds on the next and gives more information, more details, more reasons. So let's have a look at what I mean by building and giving more information. So remember this sentence here. There are a large number of reasons why people choose to use public transport instead of private vehicles. Now this is the topic sentence. This tells us what the paragraph is going to be about. It tells the reader what we are going to write about. Now the next one of the most obvious, is the fact that commuters aren't required to undertake any maintenance if they travel by public transport. What is this doing here, this red sentence? Correct, it's our main idea. Because we said we're going to talk about the reasons, and this is one of the reasons. This is our main idea, this is a reason. Next, this may in turn reduce the amount of expenses they have, which they can spend on other areas of their lives. What is this doing? What is this sentence doing and why is it here? Correct, it is support. It's giving more information. Remember in the last slide, I said that a paragraph is a group of sentences and it builds, it gives more and more information. This sentence in the green is giving more information. Next, another important consideration. So, what's this sentence doing? Correct. It's another main idea. It's main idea number 2. Because we're talking about reasons, we've got one reason here, and then we've got another reason here. And finally, our last sentence in the black, this can reduce the amount of time passengers spend on traveling. So what is this sentence doing? Correct. It is giving support. It's saying why this reason is true. It's giving more information. It's giving an example. So this is the basic structure of writing a paragraph, guys. So if you're writing paragraphs in your IELTS writing task 2 question, this is the basic structure you can follow. So a quick summary, you need a topic sentence, you need a main idea, you need support, so that can be more information, examples, reasons, results, or causes. Next, you need another main idea, and finally, you need some more support. So some information, examples, reasons, results, or causes. Now, how long should a paragraph be? Well, there's no real answer. It really depends on what you're writing. But normally, A paragraph is 4, 5, or 6 sentences, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. Now, if you're not sure, make it shorter instead of longer, because if a paragraph is very long, sometimes it's hard to read, sometimes it's hard to understand. So if you're not sure, guys, choose to have a shorter paragraph. Now, an extra tip to make your paragraphs even better is try to use connective words. These are words that link sentences together and make them much easier to read. So some common examples are however, on the other hand, moreover, in addition, and despite. Now, another important thing that you need to know is that your paragraphs must have spaces between them. So have a look at these very short paragraphs. You can see here, space, 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 and space. So when you're writing your paragraphs, for whatever you're writing, if it's an IELTS test, if it's something at school, if it's an email, you need to have spaces between your paragraphs.